Welcome back to the Swinburne Professional Staff Network podcast. The podcast Professionals with Kristy and Ash, made by professional staff for all Swinburne staff. Before we start, I'd like to acknowledge that myself, Ash, and our VVIP guest, Nicola Howard, are all currently on Boon Wurrung land, which neighbours Wurundjeri land, where Swinburne's Australian campuses are located. We would like to pay our respects to their lands, the traditional owners, and their elders past, present, and emerging. So thank you. Well, aloha, everyone. It's great to be here and back in your ears for our final podcast for 2022. But before we launch this baby, please let me introduce my partner in pod, the cruisiest, kindest and best boss ever, the one and only Ash Carden.
Thank you, Kristy. It's so funny that you say cruising now, but approximately 20 minutes ago, Zoom and I were having an extreme argument because it would not let me press the flaming launch button.
No, and you did have Zoom face. You had Zoom face, Zoom eyes.
Losing my internal marbles, which comes out as Zoom face.
Yeah, you had the cat's bum as well.
Oh, absolutely. 100%. I was mad. Zoom was not cooperating.
No, and in the last podcast, I had the exact same problem too, remember? It just, nothing went right.
We did, and it froze, I think, fully froze and possibly kicked you out.
It did. It just, everything just shut down. I couldn't see anyone. But anyway, it's good to see you, Ash. And and how are you?
Pretty good. I'm very excited that today our special guest that's joining us, and I believe our very first guest on the SPSN podcast as well, returning, is SPSN, Swinburne Professional Staff Network Chair Nicola Howard. Let us grab her out of the green room in case she, on our Christmas episode, has too much eggnog.
No,
full disclosure, the green room and the eggnog are both imaginary to my knowledge. Let's welcome Nicola.
Hi, Nicola.
Hi. Thank you both for having me today. This is very good. I've got my, I did have Zoom face on too when I was trying to get my sound working.
I know.
Which must be a thing today. It's just a thing.
I know, yeah. And like sometimes it just rolls out smoothly and then all of a sudden, no one wants to play. So totally get it. But it's really good to see you, Nicola. Thank you so much for joining us on the podcast. We haven't had you on the pod since episode 1, season 1.
It's really exciting, and so many different new episodes have been since then, and it's, you know, we're going to speak about that a little later. But it's been very exciting to see it grow and for people to start that, you know, talking about it. I've got a post-COVID voice, so I'm not sounding myself. So if any listeners are out there going, that doesn't sound like Nicola, then that's why.
Yeah,
we can see her right now. It's real Nicola, I promise.
Yeah, look, she's smiling. She's here. She's got her sexy voice on. Nicola, why don't we just get to know you a little bit better first and introduce you to some of our listeners that might not know you. Like, what is your role at Swinburne and how long have you been at Swinburne and what do you do?
So my current role is a business improvement manager. So I'm working in the service delivery team within student admin and library services. And I've been at Swinburne for over 10 years. And I guess my role focus really is process improvement. So that includes people, systems and process.
Okay.
And in my small team, there's a business improvement specialist. And then I have 2 training and learning design specialists. And the 2 training and learning design specialists, their focus is really to create training and present training for our business units in student admin and library services.
Okay.
So, you know, we also assist with staff engagement, I should say, and supporting strategic projects. So, for example, at the moment, I'm currently working on developing a business improvement toolkit. So that'll support our business portfolio. And it also will give an opportunity for us to uplift our staff's capabilities for continuous improvement.
Okay, that sounds really interesting, and it sounds like a really big role too.
Yeah, look, it's I think we're continually finding things to improve, which is always good, and it's, you know, my focus, I guess, is around how do we improve the staff experience so that our customers, ultimately our students and our academic colleagues have a better experience.
That's good. Super important too, right, Ash?
Absolutely. And I think there is probably research done across many of our colleagues in the schools that would tell us exactly how much customers are starting to care more and more about staff experience and giving their custom and their hard-earned money to companies that would treat its employees like they want to be treated as an employee.
Mm.
So if I had have prepared and asked some of our researchers for that research, that would be helpful. However, here we are, and this will test to see if any of them are listening.
Yeah.
And email us after the podcast, just throwing down that little challenge to say, yes, and why didn't you ask me for this before you podcasted?
But it's
really important.
It is super interesting because the times we're in now are just so completely different to where we were 3 years ago.
Absolutely. Oh, yeah. So different. And the employee-employer relationship, like many things, has changed and just been clarified since COVID. So that staff experience piece has always been important. I think what COVID showed is there is such a range and there can be really good experiences and people should look for those. And equally, it makes it easiest to do their best work.
Exactly. And this toolkit is all about empowering staff. You know, those things that you think, oh, this is really bugs me. Why do I have to do it this way? And, you know, the majority of the time it could be an incremental change. It's very small and it makes your life so much easier. And to be honest, you've got the power to make that change. It's just the confidence and to understand how to do it. And so that's what I'm really looking forward to. It's, you know, there's always going to be those big transformational changes that we go through with big major projects, but it's what we can do for, you know, the small changes that you're responsible or, you know, the end-to-end process design, which, you know, we've got 5 or 6 different teams working on together. How do we make that seamless for people?
And Nicola, you said you're working on it. So is it to be launched next year, or so when can we get the keys to the toolkit?
Well, the plan was to have it ready by the end of the year. So I'm busily researching and putting things up. The idea will be on our wiki.
Okay.
So even though it is being designed for our business unit, obviously it will be available for anyone who wants to have a look. And the idea would be to have some user journeys.
Right.
So go, okay, well, how do I go about, you know, a small incremental change? And it'll be step 1, 2, 3, etc. And then these are some of the templates that we use. So just really trying to make it as simple as possible. And then having a few forums to talk through, you know, what worked well, have a couple of retrospectives of real process improvements, have a couple of opportunities for people to come together and do to support each other with problems in their different areas, just so that we can, you know, really get a whole of portfolio perspective on things. Because a lot of the time, and where I find my work is so rewarding, is when you're sitting in a room, whether it's a virtual or face-to-face, and you have those aha moments where, you know, you're looking at an end-to-end process and people haven't realised that they're either duplicating work or that, you know, that they didn't realise the complexity involved by the other team. And it's that empathy, you know, having those empathy maps of these were our pain points and having people point out, oh, actually, well, if we did this, then you would need to do that step. And so that's the rewarding part.
Yeah, sounds good. So, Nicola, can we ask you a question about how you became the boss of the SPSN network?
Yeah.
And can you explain to our listeners what the SPSN is, who started it, and why was it created?
Yeah, I guess I'll start with the second part first, which is it was established in about 2015. So it was a group of like-minded staff and the VP of People and Culture back then as well, Rita. We all got together and decided that we felt we needed to promote professional staff the way that academic staff had that opportunity, and they had their Swan group, for example, And we really wanted something similar that was around highlighting in a safe space and allowing staff to shine. And so, a lot of the precursors of what we now see on Yammer were developed by the SPSN. A couple of examples might be the Pets of Swinburne, where we tried to give an opportunity for people just to share a little bit about themselves. Then we had a compliments page on the wiki, so we could get people to give a shout out and a shine. So a couple of those things have been taken up by Yammer. So and a number of the events that we were doing have actually been taken on by other areas of the university now. So it's something that's grown organically since then. We were even awarded a Vice Chancellor's Award a few years ago. So we knew that we were going in the right direction. And it has had to grow organically, and obviously through lockdowns and things that, for example, the podcast has been a wonderful outcome of having to change and be agile and say, well, what is it that professional staff need now? There's no point just continually doing the same thing just because it's worked. It's like, continually reviewing.
This is a great way to connect staff, and that's how the podcast was kind of born, wasn't it? Because the Professional Staff Network, we didn't see each other, so we kind of missed each other. It's like, how can we connect? So, how can people get involved, and if you want to be part of the SPSN network?
Yeah, I guess it's, what the number one way is to listen to the podcast, obviously. And we've also, we do still have our wiki page. We have an email address, which is psnetwork@swin.edu.au, which you can reach out and the members will get in touch. But we've got a lot of things going to happen, coffee catch-ups.
Yep.
Things that we can invite new staff to, but also have staff bring their team members along. Even if we're doing that once a quarter, it's something for people to look forward to and have that face-to-face contact.
Yeah, and we had we've got some lined up for next year, and we did some this year too, didn't we? So that was really good to see face-to-face people coming out of lockdown as well.
Yeah, I think we had a bit of a false start of back to campus, where we did a welcome back to campus, and
we did, didn't we?
We had a beautiful welcome. By one of our staff and a smoking ceremony, which was really lovely.
That's ages ago.
Yeah, and then we went back into another lockdown shortly after.
We did too.
It was just the spirit, and I think that really relaunched it for me, the importance of gathering people together, sharing stories.
Wow.
And, that's safe space.
We could maybe do something like that next year, I reckon. We should think – I've totally forgot we'd done that. Most people won't know this, but you're an amazing artist, Nicola, and have designed the SPSN podcast logo and our awesome Christmas image, our mic drop images, everything, which we love. Are you still drawing?
Yeah, I'm still trying to keep up with the digital scribing. I think that's one of the things that gives me joy as well. It's like listening to, and I probably should do one for the podcast, where you listen along to a talk and or a guest speaker, and you try and pull out the nuggets, and so it becomes like a time window into time. So when you look at that, whether it's next week, next year, you reminded then of all the key takeaways.
Yeah, so they're beautiful. I love them. In fact, listeners, she's drawing right now. So she's drawing. And how have you been, Ash? What's news with you?
Well, it is. I don't know if anyone's ready to hear that it's 4 weeks till the end of the year. And yet here we are.
Yeah.
So it's been a big year. Lots of changes, lots of staffing changes. Across Swinburne and with second wave of COVID, as Nick's just been hit and the family's been hit.
That's right.
That we have just a lot more medical leave and medical things than we previously had. So what's really amazing is the amount of staff that come through and pitch in and work together when those things happen.
Yeah.
That's really amazing. But I don't think anyone's pretending that it hasn't been a very long year, very challenging across the board. I don't know many areas that haven't told me how many people they're down this year at one time or another. So
Yeah.
It's been a long year, a lot of learning.
Yeah, you just touched on something that I wanted to just talk about in a little bit more detail, Ash. And you said, like, when the people have been away, they've had COVID or we've had staffing changes. Not a lot of people would know this, but I'm going to give a massive shout out to the event staff across Swinburne Uni, across all campuses. We have an amazing team of event staff that are willing to, at the drop of a hat, help out. Have been involved in a lot of huge events this year, and there's a community of practice, and they're mainly professional staff. So, and then people like Tanya Sabatino, Diana, Mel Nam, Tracy Wright. At the drop of a hat, they're happy to chip in and help out and put their hand up to be part of events. And you as well, Ash, you've been on events this year.
Our brilliant ASO, who also happens to have extensive, amazing amount of events experience.
Yes, magical. The one
media
and only
experience and university experience, also got a new knee.
Yes.
And as she was rightly getting her new knee, we definitely had to find our knees because we were on our backsides without her.
We were on
110%.
We're talking about Irene. If everyone knows Irene.
Everyone knows Irene Thav. Everyone knows. If you haven't yet met Irene Thavaraja, we better make sure you meet Irene Thavaraja. There is no person she meets that is not happier and feeling better about their lives after. She's brilliant.
That's lovely.
So Irene will be back on deck pretty soon, I think, hopefully.
She's actually back.
Oh,
she's back this week.
Oh, my God, mate. All right. My head has been so deep into events, I'm just coming up for air right now. It's
so amazing to have her back. Oh. She does work remotely at the moment because she doesn't yet have the tick from the doctors to drive.
Okay.
So
cool.
If it's really, I suppose, maybe not COVID has given us, people working through COVID and pivoting and adjusting and adapting, the world understanding that hybrid work is absolutely possible. In a normal circumstance, this would be lost labour, lost time. It would be lost time for the university. But being able to work hybrid means that the parts of people's jobs that they can do, they are doing.
Yeah, from home. So that's pretty cool. I'm working from home. We're all actually at home this afternoon. So
absolutely. And I was on campus this morning. It opens up. We were talking about that employee experience of being able to do your best work is so important. So Irene has appointments and is working part days, and just having that option available, it also speaks to Swinburne's accessibility and diversity. But I think accessibility is something every single Swinburne staff member is really passionate about. So being able to see that live in action, it's a bit reflective of me for the end of the year. Yeah. And I wasn't even feeling reflective when I had Zoom face on. Now I'm all about the reflection.
Well, speaking of reflection, I think it's the end of next week. We have our Swinburne One Christmas party in the park. Is everyone going?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yes.
We actually did discuss doing an outside broadcast in the park.
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah, but then it was like, oh my God, I can't arrange one more thing. My tiny brain.
But maybe we could ask. We could always ask Jonathan or Jose, unless there's someone else in Jonathan's team, to see if they can set it up.
Yeah.
We can do it.
Yeah. Yes, we will. I think we can do that next year. Maybe we can.
Maybe next year is a good idea, because I just realised the ramifications of what I was saying, and I've had enough ramifications for one day.
Yeah. Nick and I had this chat, I think, last week or the week before. Let's do an outside broadcast and we'll interview people as they're coming past, having a great time at the party.
That would be so fun.
And then it was just like, oh God, I can't.
What if it rains? What if
it was all that. And just the brain capacity to do that.
Yeah,
right.
But anyway, as it ends up, we're doing our Christmas wrap up party podcast right now. So
this is our party.
Yay! And so coming towards the end of the year, you guys taking a break? You're looking forward to it? What are you both up to?
Yeah, I'm taking a couple of days off before Christmas and then the week after Christmas, so the first week of January.
Excellent.
Yeah, really looking forward to that. And my son, 15, is going to America for 2 weeks to space camp.
Wow.
So that's
cool.
Pretty exciting. So he'll be gone and he won't be back until Christmas Eve morning.
Amazing.
So, I won't know what to do with myself. So it'll be nice to have that break. That'll be very
fantastic. What about you, Ash? What are you up to?
I do have I think I have the first week of January off as well. I'm not 100% sure, but I am taking some time off the first week of Feb, and in Feb, my son is starting school.
Oh, yeah.
Next year, which is super exciting.
Unreal. Well, I'm like you. I'm taking that first week off back on the 8th or 9th, whatever it is. I don't know. But, just going to have a really nice break. And I'm actually not trying to jam pack it with a bazillion things.
It goes so fast that time. Yeah. You think you've got so long at the start of it, and you do.
And then
after Christmas, it's, I haven't done anything. And then after New Year's, it's this.
Yeah.
Running out of days.
Yeah. Running out of days, not dread.
You know what? There is times people feel it. It happens.
Yeah.
I think we leave that in.
But I reckon, don't worry, won't be doing any editing, Ash. So today we're celebrating the year that was, right, Ash?
Yes, sorry, listeners. Ash? What you can't hear, hopefully, is the amount of times I'm muting myself to have a sip of tea, and I'm sure we've all done this in meetings, because I'm trying desperately not to cough on the recording. Also, like when it's a big meeting and you sometimes don't know, do I turn my camera off to cough? Do I leave it on? How long am I going to be coughing? Are they going to think I'm rude? So for anyone wondering if I suddenly don't answer a question during this podcast, I blanked out. I don't have COVID or anything. And last time I was sick was 2 weeks ago, even though my son is currently sick or getting over it. Husband is sick, and it is the lurgy generally is cycling through our house like never before.
Well,
anyway, these coughs have nothing to do with any of that. However, when I blank, it's because I'm coughing.
Yeah, because I just asked Ash a question as she was putting the cup of tea to her lips. Sorry about that, Ash. Okay. All right, Ash, so why don't you let's just talk about the year that was.
So the year that was of 2022, we were just discussing Nicola's first time on the podcast, and when we sort of talked about the idea for the podcast for the very first time was 3 whole years ago, or almost 3 years ago.
Wow.
Which is
unreal.
Lot.
It's really cool. I'm so proud of us.
I know. It's amazing. I'm proud of you and the amount of work that you put into this podcast. And
awesome.
Navigating Adobe, producing them all yourself. Like it's proud of you.
Fun. I love it. Thanks, Mum.
Driving force behind the community of practice of pods.
Yeah.
At Swinburne. So well done.
Yeah, absolutely. I love it. But yeah, we do want to say a special thank you to all the amazing professional staff at Swinburne Uni across all the campuses for being part of the SPSN network, because it has been a busy year for everyone. Right, Ash?
It has been rather busy. Professional staff and, of course, all of our amazing guests that we've had on across Swinburne, professional and academic. It's been really, really good. It always is to record these.
Yeah. So back in January, we kicked off the year and we reignited and relaunched the SPSN network, which included our schedule for 2022. But this year we didn't tick off all of our to-do list, but we were able to have a couple of cuppa catch-ups, didn't we, Nicola? Which was great. And we also had, obviously, the podcast to keep us entertained. But I don't know if you saw the stats on our last podcast. We melted the internet yet again, Ash. Did you know that? So, but we have had a great year chatting to all of our VIP guests. And Nicola, you know the people that we've chatted to this year. We only did 4 this year, which was plenty. But how did you enjoy the podcast this year?
Yeah, I really did enjoy them. And I think the feedback from people and just seeing, comments on LinkedIn and people outside of Swinburne as well. It's been
good.
Yeah. Just the feedback and knowing that you're on the right track and getting that validation along the way. And I think just even to the last one with Karen Chalmers, I think, having her be so supportive of that, the professional staff
was huge, wasn't
relationship with academic staff. And it's just, things that we want to tease out probably, in the new year and just, have some more discussions with people.
We've kind of mapped it out 2023 and who we would like to speak to, and we're going to do probably 4 or 5 podcasts again next year. And should we announce who we've got on our hit list, girls?
Definitely.
Yes, but I'm going to throw it out there.
Yeah.
We could add, since Karen's podcast was so amazing and interesting, should we throw down to the rest of the school deans? Come to the podcast, see if you can top Karen's listens.
Yeah, it's going to be hard, but in our hit list we have got Nancy Collins, Caitlin Hindmarsh, Narelle Lemon, newly appointed Professor Narelle Lemon, and also then another review wrap-up year with Nicola. So that's what we're thinking for 2023. And also interspersed, we will have our cup of tea catch-ups, and they'll either be at Co-Ground or at Gomez. So and maybe we can even have a lunch mid-year. What do you reckon, Nicola?
Yeah, definitely. A lot of opportunities for face-to-face.
Yeah.
What couple going, pre-COVID, we used to have our professional staff blitzes where we would get, 3 people to come in and talk about the same topic for 10 minutes each, and giving people opportunity for Q&A and just that networking opportunity. So, there may be things that are brought up in these podcasts that we can do something like that and have it broken down, or it could come out the other way. We could do a professional staff which then turns into a bit more of an in-depth podcast conversation. So it's really up to people to let us know what is it that you're looking for. And
should we put a poll on Yammer?
Yeah, definitely.
Look at me with the voting and the polls and the Dean's Challenge. It's
throwing it out there to 2023 until it's 2023, and then you're like, oh, hang on a minute.
Maybe let's not try and do all of these things in one year. That is exactly what will happen.
But that's good. You got your creative on. Good on you, Ash. We do have a good year lined up next year, but we're always open to people wanting to be on the podcast or be a part of the professional staff network. I'm going to reach out to some of my networks that aren't in here that I think should be as well. So, ladies, that just about wraps up our final podcast for the year and coming to the end of season 2. Don't stress, everyone. We're back for a third year or fourth year. No, third year. But, Ash, why don't you give us a score out of 10, please, for this podcast?
Since this is our season 2 Christmas special, episode 13.
Are you going to sing us a song?
No. I thought about it for a second, but it was a really small second because then I remembered what it sounds like when I sing.
Yeah.
Instead, my rating is Jingle Bells, and that is exactly a scale, and it works out of 10, and I will hear no comments to the contrary. You can make them. I just won't hear them.
No. And how about you, Nicola? Did you enjoy being part of today's podcast?
Yeah, it was a pleasure as always. I always feel more energised after our conversation, so thank you so much.
Oh, it's a pleasure. And thank you for your support. Yeah, thank you. And we're sorry that you're not feeling 100% today, but you're looking gorgeous. So there you go.
Yeah, trust me. It's on audio. Trust me.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for all your support this year. We sincerely appreciate it. And to all our listeners, we love you. We will see you next year. And until next year, it's bye from me.
Thank you. Bye from me too.
And see you later from me.
Thanks, guys. See ya.